Stone Cold Prose. Building better words.
Bad guys. We love them and we hate them, and we love to hate them. Today we continue our examination of the best bad guys ever to grace or disgrace the silver screen with another 10 classic villains personally selected by yours truly. Hi guys, welcome back to Stone Cold Prose, where we build better words, better thoughts, and better men. I'm Miles Watson, novelist and author of numerous award-winning series including Cage Life, Sinner's Cross, and The Chronicles of Magnus. I worked in Hollywood for 12 years, law enforcement for another 10, and now I break it all down and build it back better. So let's get into this. In the first two installments of this series, we discussed such evil luminaries as Darth Vader from Star Wars, Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, Sergeant Barnes from Platoon, and Pamela Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Today, we push on and begin with Sheev Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious from the Star Wars movies. George Lucas is famous for a lot of reasons, but it's seldom remarked upon that he gave us two of the greatest villains of modern cinema, Darth Vader and his master, Darth Sidious. Played with sometimes subtle, sometimes scene-chewing relish by Ian McDiarmid, Sidious, a mega-powerful Sith Lord who lives a double life as a seemingly bland and inoffensive galactic politician, is basically Satan. He's totally evil, lacking in any psychological depth, and willing to kill countless billions to achieve his aims. He cares for no one and nothing but himself and the increase of his own personal power. What elevates him from the mere generic supervillain is the nuance of his genius. Sidious is not, like Darth Maul, a flashy assassin who relishes combat, nor is he a seething powerhouse of villainy like Darth Vader. No, Sidious is silky, subtle, and smooth. He's a genius-level strategist, a master politician, and possesses infinite patience. He can simulate fatherly kindness, friendship, and human decency to perfection, but doesn't feel any of those things. His greatest pleasure seems to be in manipulating events and especially people to serve his aims, and the more unknowingly or unwillingly they serve him, the bigger the kick he gets out of it. He actually engineers a galaxy-wide civil war in which he is the supreme leader of both warring factions, something unique in cinematic history, the flex of flexes. Everyone else plays checkers, Sidious plays chess, three-dimensional, Star Trek style chess. Next is the Terminator from the Terminator movies. I'm not sure Arnold Schwarzenegger will ever truly get the credit he deserves for his role as Cyberdyne Systems Model 101 T-800 Terminator. I mean, it's the iconic role of all roles, but have you ever studied Arnold's face and body language in the first movie? He plays a machine wrapped in human skin so perfectly that when the skin is finally burned off and the chrome-plated skeleton of the cyborg emerges, the audience is pretty much like, yeah, that figures. A literal murder machine sent back in time by a sentient computer called Skynet to kill the mother of what will be the leader of human resistance against it, the Terminator has one goal: to kill Sarah Connor. And it will do absolutely anything to achieve that end, literally anything. It will kill your mom, it will kill your dog, it will kill 17 cops in their own police station just because they got in its way. You can shoot it, you can hit it with a car, you can set it on fire, throw pipe bombs at it, whatever, but this sucker does not discourage easily, or at all. As its opponent Kyle Reese memorably proclaims, it can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead. Now, when you strip away the skin grown for the cyborgs, what you get is a big clanking chrome death. And that's what the Terminator is, death. Next up is Warden Norton from the Shawshank Redemption. Villains are like ice cream. They come in every flavor. His is vanilla. One of the worst kinds of bad guy is the towering hypocrite who preaches one thing and does quite the other. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a more hypocritical prick than Norton, brilliantly played by Bob Gunton. The warden of Shawshank Prison, he not only uses his inmates as slaves, allows his sadistic henchmen to torture them, and prevents an innocent man from being released for a crime he didn't commit, he does all this for money. And while quoting the Bible. This would be bad enough, but Norton actually seems to be as pious as he pretends. You get the feeling his fussy manners, severe crew cut, and avoidance of profanity aren't an act, which makes him all the more appalling when he calmly watches atrocities go on all around him with a faint, sanctimonious smile. Picture a totally demonic Ned Flanders, Vanilla Ice Cream from Hell, and you've got the Warden. Any villain who refers to a scantily clad woman as Miss Fussy Britches has to be pure evil. Next is Khan Noonien Singh, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. In 1968, Ricardo Montalban was cast on the low-rated cult TV series Star Trek to play a genetically enhanced war criminal who had escaped Earth in a cryogenic spaceship and drifted in suspended animation with the survivors of his army among the stars for centuries before being rescued by the crew of the USS Enterprise. Montalban later remarked that he enjoyed playing the role, but as a busy character actor, quickly forgot about it. He was probably surprised when he was asked many years later to reprise the role for the second feature-length Star Trek film, The Wrath of Khan. If so, the surprise did not hurt his performance. In the television episode, Khan repays James T. Kirk's hospitality by hijacking his ship, but is defeated and exiled on a remote planet with his followers. In the movie, Khan escapes and embarks on a brutal revenge mission against Kirk, who he blames for the death of his wife. Bristling with charisma, masculinity, and an ego as big as the universe he wants to conquer, Khan thrives on his own hatred. It's nitrous oxide for the engine of his vengeance, and heaven help anyone who stands in his way. Khan enslaves Federation officers using parasitic slugs, slaughters hapless Starfleet cadets, and tortures and kills scientists who try to hamper his plans. At one point, taunting Kirk, he says, "I've done worse than kill you, Admiral. I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity at the center of a dead planet, buried alive." Kirk's epic response is one of the most memorable one-line comebacks in cinematic history, and the sort of thing that can only occur when a great hero has a great villain to fight with. I'm convinced that if Star Trek II had been a drama and not sci-fi, Montalban would have won a supporting Oscar. Next up is Lord Humungus and Wes from The Road Warrior. Now, okay, this is cheating, but sometimes a bad guy is actually a tag team affair. In The Road Warrior, our redoubtable lone wolf anti-hero Mad Max Rockatansky is vexed by an army of nomadic bandits led by Lord Humungus, Kjell Nielsen. Humungus is a hulking wall of muscle who wears a steel hockey mask, a loincloth, and issues decidedly not hollow threats, and demands in a savage yet highly educated growl from the loudspeaker of his souped-up dune buggy. His men kill pretty much everything they can, including dogs, and like a spot of rape first if they can manage it. Like many evildoers, the Lord of the Wastelands blames his victims for their suffering. "Once again," he lectures the defenders of a desert fort, who he has been besieging for months, "you've made me unleash my dogs of war." It's their fault. The biggest of these dogs is Wes, Vernon Wells, a goggle-eyed psychopath whose stare could make a face bleed and who has almost no dialogue in the movie except things like, "Kill, kill, kill." Wes, unlike most bad guys, doesn't need a signature weapon to do his killing. He can put you in your grave with a headbutt, and he does. Nor does shooting him actually work. He'll just pluck the arrow from his body and give it a masochistic lick like a popsicle, an interesting departure from convention. I should add that Wes is also gay, and the death of his lover drives him, if this is possible, even more insane than he is at the beginning of the movie. It also affords us a rather amusing scene where a gust of wind shows us that Wes does not care for loincloths. Next is Mr. Blonde from Reservoir Dogs. In Reservoir Dogs, all the characters are basically bad guys, but Mr. Blonde, played by Michael Madsen, is head and shoulders above his criminal colleagues in every other respect. Most people who see the movie about the aftermath of a failed bank robbery are struck by his arrogance, his sadism, and extreme cruelty. But what many fail to notice is that Mr. Blonde is not merely a murderer and a sadist. He's a professional criminal undergoing a mental disintegration during the events of the movie. One of the themes of Reservoir Dogs is that professional criminals should behave professionally. They should only do what's necessary to achieve their aims, no more, no less. But we soon discover that the robbery went bad because Mr. Blonde went gun happy and started offing people just for the hell of it. And indeed, he spends much of the movie torturing a kidnapped police officer with ever increasing viciousness just for the hell of it. This is not professional. These are the actions of a lunatic, which makes Mr. Blonde not only a threat to the public, but also his fellow criminals. He is one of those guys who makes everyone uncomfortable every moment he is on the screen. And that most definitely includes the audience. Next is Dudley Smith from LA Confidential. One of my favorite sort of villains is the Kaiser Sose type, the Palpatine type, who manipulates events from a distance, causing all sorts of calamity and mayhem without a flicker of conscience, just to serve his own selfish ambitions. Dudley Liam Smith, portrayed with smirking subtlety by the great James Cromwell, is a police captain in 50s Los Angeles with a wife and kids and many friends on the force. He's a typical career cop. He's also a man determined to become the city's one and only crime lord. To do this, he weaves a complex web of deceit, intrigue, and pitiless brutality, which kills not only the criminals in his way, but also some of his friends. Dudley is a man whose public face is a mask. In private, he's a scheming, cunning, absolutely ruthless, and somewhat sadistic bastard who loves no one, probably not even his wife and his kids. He's the sort of high-functioning sociopath who fools everyone around him into believing he's actually a human being. But he's not. He views everyone in his life as either a threat or an asset. The threats are to be eliminated, the assets to be used, and if necessary, discarded when the time comes. Next is Zhang Kyung from I Saw the Devil. Of all the cinematic psychopaths I have encountered, one of the nastiest is this freak played by Choi Min-sik. A serial killer who preys on just about everyone he encounters, Zhang Kyung opens the movie by murdering and dismembering the pregnant wife of the movie's protagonist. Over the course of the film, as he's hunted by the vengeful husband, he goes on a rampage of violence as gruesome as it is impulsive. Though later it becomes highly focused as he turns his gift for violence on his pursuer's family and friends. And just when you think it can't get any worse, he introduces us, the audience, to his best friend, a fellow serial killer who is also a cannibal. This movie is a very dark, very bloody rabbit hole, not for the faint of heart, not least because the killer is so savage, so evil, so irredeemable, that he unlocks similar sadistic impulses in the movie's hero. Indeed, the whole movie is really a demolition derby between a man who boasts that he doesn't feel fear or pain and a man who is determined to make him feel both. This movie is some sick shit. Next up is Scorpio from Dirty Harry. When you go up against Clint Eastwood in a movie, you'd better pack a lunch. Well, Andrew Robinson did just that in the iconic 1971 movie about a cop who breaks all the rules trying to stop a vicious psychopath terrorizing San Francisco. Robinson plays Scorpio, a Zodiac-style murderer who employs a terror campaign in the hopes of extorting a huge ransom from the city. This guy is not only a cold-blooded rapist, kidnapper, and murderer, he's not merely a sadist and a masochist and a racist and a monster who even hijacks a school bus full of kids. He's a fucking creep. Everything about him makes your skin crawl and keep crawling. Robertson's pop-eyed, grinning, giggling, capering performance may seem like overkill, but it's actually just enough kill. He's playing a man who is utterly demented, utterly obsessed, and is operating by his own set of rules, free from any sense of decency or morality whatsoever. In short, he's a perfect match for Dirty Harry Callahan. And that, my friends, is no easy task. Next is Sergeant Major Dickerson from Good Morning Vietnam. Now, I selected Sergeant Major Dickerson because he is a different type of bad guy. He does not successfully harm anyone physically in this movie. The damage he does is psychological and spiritual. Dickerson, brilliantly portrayed by the late, sadly great, J.T. Walsh, is a career soldier who lives by the rule book and is as severe as his army haircut. But he's much more than a stickler for the rules. He's a bully, not merely one with a great deal of power, but one who is tireless and obsessive in his bullying. In Good Morning Vietnam, the target of his ire is a free-spirited radio jockey named Adrian Cronauer, played by Robin Williams. The film is a battle of wills between the two, but it's much more than that. It's a battle of philosophies. Dickerson is the sort of angry, joyless rule follower who wants to impose his gray, clamped down version of the world on everyone in his path and will stop at nearly nothing to do it. Nothing gives him more pleasure than breaking someone. But unlike a drill sergeant who is breaking you to build you back up, Dickerson is breaking you just to break you. In my life, I've met such people in sports and school and in the workplace, and so have you. And that's why Walsh's performance resonates so strongly with the audience emotions. Dickerson's not just a character, he's an archetype. The archetype of a total asshole. And with that, Dickerson, we bring part 3 of our Best of the Bad series to a close. Stay tuned for part 4, in which we will take yet another deep dive into the filthy muck of cinematic villainy with 10 more people you would never want to meet in real life. I'll see you next time, and until then, stay cold and away from the bad guys.